Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone, and let's get into this last episode of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Child, I don't know what in the Young and the Restless they got going on, but let's just get into it. Before we do, y'all know the drill. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Of course, I want to shout out my super thanksters. Shout out to Shay B, Tanya Fuller, Yvette Greer, Latoya Randolph, and Simone Francois. And I have to give a shout out to everybody that came through and supported on the live. Oh my God. I had so much fun. Oh my God. Thank y'all for coming through. And the support, the love was overwhelming. Like y'all know now, first of all, I did not know what I was doing about the first half of live job. So I missed a good few of them super thanks, y'all. Please know I appreciate y'all more than I could ever make y'all understand. Yes, I did go cry in the car, but that ain't nobody's business but my own. Thank you very much. Let's get into this review. So the episode opens up with Stormi having a photo shoot for her product line that Tiffany is going to be a model in. Before they get started with the photo shoot, Mel comes in and they sit down together for the real reason that they're all there, gossip. So Tiffany starts the conversation with Mel by saying, "I haven't seen you since the peace party. How have you been?" Mel said, "I'm great." She immediately turns to Stormi and said, "The peace party was awesome. Great job, Stormi." "Yeah, Tiffany, it looked like you done got put out the circle of trust." Mel and Stormi are talking about how well the peace party went and how well everybody got along. Mel said it actually went so well that Destiny ended up reaching out to invite me to her photo shoot. And Tiffany and Stormi are shocked. Stormi said, "What you mean she invited you? How?" Mel said, "She just said, I'm having a photo shoot. Come swing by for a few minutes." So I did. Tiffany said, "Oh, that's such a nice gesture. So y'all are friends?" Mel just kind of stares for a minute and Tiffany rolls her eyes like, oh my God. Now, here's the thing. I know why I don't like Tiffany. I know why she gets on my nerves. I'm trying to understand exactly where her and Mel fell out, because they was just exploration buddies last season going to sundown towns together. So if anybody could just refresh my memory as to what exactly happened. Stormi said, "Did she tell you what she wanted?" She said, "No." "Oh, so you just went in blind?" She said, "Yeah, I went to the photo shoot. We talked a little bit. We laughed a little bit. I showed her a few poses and I left." Stormi said, "Oh, that's a lot. That's deep." Mel said, "No, it ain't. Not to me. It's not deep at all to me." So Stormi and Tiffany are joking about how Destiny and Mel are going to be buddy-buddy before you know it, because Mel had taken time out of her busy schedule to go support Destiny. And Mel said, no. Tiffany said, "I'm happy for y'all to be able to get to this point, because there's just too much time invested for y'all to not be able to get to this point." Mel said, "Yeah, this point of being cordial." So Mel is in the confessional saying, it's frustrating when people try to make it seem like you have to be friends with someone when you chose to not be friends with that person for a reason. She said people will try to push you to make up and be friends, but it's okay to walk away from friendships. And it is okay to walk away from friendships, but I don't think their issue is as much trying to make her be friends with Destiny as much as it is trying to make her make it make sense. If we don't know exactly what got her cut off, how do we know when we're on the chopping block? Mel said, "I'm not having this conversation with y'all no more about being friends with that girl." She changed the subject. She said, "Well, I'm planning a trip for my kids because, I'm trying to help them maintain a sense of normalcy ever since the whole divorce thing. So I've been taking them to different places out of town, and I decided that I'll take them to Destin, Florida. And I also invited Martell and his mom." And of course, they're both shocked, but they have opposite reactions. Tiffany is excited. She thinks it's a great idea. Stormi said, "Tell me why." Tiffany said it's the best thing for her kids. Stormi said, "I get that it's the best thing for her kids, but I want her why. I'm asking her, why would you do that?" Tiffany is still responding for Mel about because she prioritizes her kids and she wants to put their priorities first and foremost. Mel is just sitting there watching this tennis match between Stormi and Tiffany over her trip with her ex and her kids. I'm thinking to myself, Tiffany got to be done. This girl was just barely talking to you, and here you go, just ready to go head up with Stormi about how she feeling, what she thinking. What, girl, shut. But then I said, you know what? I know what's going on here. You know what's going on here? This is her trying to get back in the circle of trust. Stormi said, well, prioritizing the kids is the reason for the trip in the first place. What's the reason for inviting Martell and his mama? So Mel finally speaks up to say that she's in this place of peace that she doesn't understand and things don't bother her. And when you're happy for real, what people got going on, it just don't bother you. So despite all the stuff Martell has done, she's decided to be the bigger person. It's been almost 2 years. And she said, honestly, she does feel like she's seen an improvement in his behavior. She said, you know, all the little petty stuff he used to do, I guess, because he was hurt and bitter that I left him. I said, now, when Martell get the cursing your ass out all over Instagram, I don't want to hear nothing. She just said herself that it's been 2 years and she wants to be the bigger person. So why is we just randomly throwing in there that, you know, he was hurt and bitter because I left him? Like, she said, you know, but he's been doing better. And so I decided that maybe you could come and you could bring your mom. So Tiffany asked her, well, are your kids happy about it? And she said, yeah, the kids are happy. Stormi said, well, I'm sure the kids are going to be happy about it, but do they think y'all are getting back together? Mel said no, because she's going to have a conversation with her kids who she feels are intellectually mature for their ages. Stormi is asking, well, do you think that deep down inside they want that? Mel thought about it for a second and she said no. Tiffany said, well, do they ever ask? Mel said, well, they used to, but not anymore. And then she says, and let me be clear, I hope he doesn't get an inch and think he can take a mile and start calling me whenever he wants. Hopefully it doesn't open that door. Like, girl, who was talking about that? And if you think that, why is going on this trip a good idea? Anyway, we move on to Destiny's house where her cousin Demi is over there, and the first minute of their segment is basically an ad for Demi's makeup line. Demi and Destiny are going to do a collaboration, so she lays out all of her products. Destiny said Demi has been in the beauty business for a very long time and was a sounding board for her coming in. So they're talking about, I guess, a launch party of some sort for Demi's products. Destiny is suggesting that she throws a party and invites all the ladies that were at the peace party. And Demi says, you think they'll come? Destiny said, yeah, hell, they come to anything else. Whether you invite them or not, yeah, they should come. They say they want to support black businesses, right? And you is black and this is a business. So Demi said, well, yeah, it might be a good idea because after all, we all are in the same industry and also in the same circles, because Destiny starts asking Demi about how familiar she is with everybody in the circle. Like, you know all of them, right? Demi said, yeah, I know all of them. Me and Martell went to school together. Destiny Sue didn't go to school with Martell. Mel was a longtime client of hers, and she did her hair and makeup for her wedding. She's also done Tiffany and Kimmy's makeup, and Tisha she's met through a mutual friend. So Destiny asked Demi her thoughts on the peace party, and Demi said she really liked the idea of the party because, you know, she sages all the time. But she really wanted to see everybody's intent, what everybody came to really say. She said that she and Destiny have personalities that are often misunderstood, and for her, the moment of the night was Mel saying normalize releasing old friendships. She said, because I am very kumbaya, but when it's time to let go, it's time to let go. Destiny said, well, I had agreed with that too. I agreed when she said that, so we were all in agreement. She ain't the only one with a little bit of sense at the party. So she tells Demi about Mel coming by her photo shoot. She said, you know, she came by the photo shoot to support, I guess. Hold on. Was she invited or was she not invited? Destiny tells her that they talked about the peace party and they talked about the fallout of their friendship. Destiny said she feels that they're in a place where they can be amicable, but she'll never forget what has gone down between them. Demi said, well, it sounds like y'all are in the same place y'all started at. Pretty much. She told Destiny, I can tell by how you talk about the situation that it bothers you. Destiny said, no, it don't. Yes, it does. Destiny said, no, it really doesn't. It's just that All relationships and friendships go through some sort of a period or experience of opposition. And how you handle each other in that period of opposition determines how you will be able to move forward. She said, in the way that she handled me in opposition, I cannot see moving forward to get back to the place that we were in. Destiny is in the confessional saying that as close as they were, she realizes that situations and circumstances change. And she has to be willing to accept that and move forward. Child, please. Demi says, so if Mel came to you and said, I love you, she said that when she came to my photo shoot. If she came and said she wanted to squash the beef, you would say no. Destiny said, yes, I would. Yeah, that's because y'all already made that determination when you jumped up like some desperate lover about you love me, don't you? So we move on to Mel's house where she's at home with her mom and her kids, and she's getting her kids together for this trip. Mel also reminds her mom that she invited not only Martell, but his mama on the trip. She said, you know, I met with his mom and we had a conversation, and Ms. Van said, well, I hadn't talked to her since the divorce. So I'm curious as to how that went. Mel said, we both basically just said what we had to say. Ms. Van said, well, hopefully they can do the same thing when they get together on this trip. So we move on to see Martell at home with his mama packing for the trip, and his mom is asking him if he's nervous and excited. Martell says, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't really know what to expect. And Miss Marlene said, well, it's all about the kids. Martell said, I mean, yeah, it's about the kids, but it's about me and Mel too. Yeah, you know, cause we done been through so much, you know. Now see, this is the mile she was talking about when she decided to give you an inch. So back at Mel's house, Miss Van is telling Mel that, you know, she's looking forward to it. And she said, well, do the kids know that their dad and other grandmother are coming? In other words, do we still have time to tell them to stay home? Mel said, yeah, they know. She said, oh, cool. Well, what did they say? She said, no big conversation, just that they're excited that they're coming. She said, oh, cool. All I heard was damn. So they cut back to Martell at his mama's house, and he is sharing with his mom the conversation that he had with the guys playing basketball. And he confides in her that he is a little bit nervous that he might be creating false hope for his kids, and asked her, what does she think he should do? She said, talk to your churn, them y'all churn. Talk to them, do what you do. Y'all just got to be on the same page about everything. And Martell said that he does not agree with the advice or positions of Maurice or Marceau. Martell is in the confessional saying that he wants his kids to have hope. He said there's no telling what God has in store. You can only hope for the best and let the best happen. But to be honest, it's possible that he and Mel could get back together. Why does he think that? Why would you want your kids to have a false sense of hope that y'all will eventually reconstruct your dysfunction when all you plan to give them is disappointment? Even if y'all got something going on in the background and you think there is some chance that y'all may get together, there's no need to put that seed into those children's heads until you know that this is what's going to happen. And I think they overestimate these kids' ability to manage handling this emotional roller coaster. Like, it's a lot for an adult. I can only imagine for small children. I honestly think the reason Martell wants his kids to have hope is it gives him a tool to try to get back to the position that he was once in. So Ms. Van asked Mel, do you plan to have any important conversations or talk about any of the things that you feel need to be discussed? Mel said, not at all. In other words, don't you bring that up either. No ma'am, not at all. She said, I don't want to have any conversations that are going to push any buttons or triggers or anything of that nature. So we move on to Maurice and Kimmy, who are leaving Kimmy's first chemo appointment. She has started her treatment plan, which is going to include, I think it was either 16 or 20 chemo treatments, surgery, and radiation for her to get back to being healthy. She tells Maurice that, she's just trying to remain positive because there has to be a reason that she's going through all this. But she did get two pieces of good news. The first piece of good news is that it has not spread to anywhere else in her body. Secondly, she also had a genetics test done, and it does show that she is not genetically predisposed to breast cancer in any way. And while this is all good news, she said she did come to understand the gravity of her situation by talking with her doctor, who said to her that there's nothing positive about having a triple negative. She said she actually appreciates him for being direct and telling her the truth. It gives you a real picture rather than a false sense of hope. Maurice said they're both trying to remain optimistic, and while all this information does make Kimmy feel better, he's not the medical professional between them, so he doesn't even really understand what he's hearing. So he still has a level of confusion and emotional roller coaster. So when Kimmy and Maurice go home, her whole family is there waiting on her. Her parents, her sister, niece, and her son, Jalen. Kimmy is saying that her parents had just moved to the area, I believe, that same week. And originally the conversation was that Kimmy wanted them to move to the area so that she could take care of her mom. And now the tables have turned where her mom is going to be taking care of her. Kimmy talks about Jalen and how he's been dealing with it and that he was visibly broken the day that they told him. So she's telling them about her treatment plan and that her doctor told her that the form of breast cancer that she has is a very rare form that does primarily affect Black women. And she was asking if they have any questions or concerns when Jalen raised his hand. And Jalen says to Maurice, we're going to have to work out the visitation schedule in some way where he can be there. So Kimmy responds to Jalen by saying that she wants this to be a successful journey for Maurice as well. So she offers to Jalen the option of being able to step in the event that Maurice is tired or overwhelmed. And she's kind of looking to Maurice for approval while she's saying this. And she said, y'all can talk about that because I know that this is a lot. And I even told Maurice the day that we found out that I know that this is a lot. And she continues into this conversation about how supportive Maurice has been and how his swift support and telling her that he was committed was exactly what she needed. I can respect that, but I'm trying to understand how Jalen saying he would like to be involved morphed into talking about how supportive Maurice is and Maurice needing to be present. I get a desire to honor her husband, and I get even a desire to not burden her child. But I do think it should be taken into consideration that Jalen is an only child of a single mom and grew up for many years with just him and his mom. And I think it's important to make sure that he is included in the process. Kimmy's in the confessional and she does say that she knows that she adores Jalen and Jalen adores her, so she prays for her baby. And she is concerned for Maurice because Maurice is such a fixer, but he can't fix this. So we move on and we see Mel and the kids arriving in Destin, followed by Martell and his mom. Well, Martell arrives with Mel's favorite snack as his greeting gift. And Mel lays out the plan to get pizza and wings that night because they've been traveling. And then she has a chef flying in who's going to be cooking for them for the next couple of days. Martell said, oh, that's nice. Now, here's my thing. I get not wanting to cook on vacation, but flying in the whole chef, ain't no chefs in the area. Y'all ain't got no restaurants around it. Can nobody cook? So they order the food arrives, and Mel is upset. And she's upset primarily because she tried to order Martell's favorites and they did not get it right. Martell comes downstairs looking for the food and she stops him and said, just wait a minute, because they got the food all wrong. And I don't play about my food. Martell said, well, it's been a couple years, so I don't know, you might. I said, if that ain't for the girlfriends at home. She said, well, I didn't play about my food then and I still don't play about my food. And she's going in about how she tried to order his favorites. Now, when she told Martell, he does this fake laugh like he just blushing and, well, I could just eat what we got here. It's not that big a deal. She said, well, I was trying to get what you liked. Martell is in the confessional saying that Mel is being pretty authentic, and he likes that she wanted to get his favorites and, he brought her favorite snack. It reminds him of their old chemistry and old times. Or y'all is setting the chemistry for nighttime. Then next, the youngest child pointed out that, hey, y'all got on matching shirts. Why y'all matching? Now, Mel and all the kids had on some combination of denim and white. Martell also had on a white shirt and a denim hat. And they're in the confessional acting like this child is crazy when we know he got the memo and y'all dressed alike on purpose. So Mel goes to show Martell the layout of the house and where everybody's going to be sleeping. So as they're going up the stairs to see his room, Martell blurts out, "We're not sleeping in the same room, Mel." Martell said, "You could order my favorite pizza and fight like a Ninja Turtle when they send the wrong one if you want to. But we ain't sleeping in the same bed." You saw that, Sheree? You saw me tell her that? Mel said, "I wasn't going to suggest that we..." Mel is in the confessional saying being in the same room as her is a dream for Martell. He wishes. Well, yeah, he do, but judging by that kitchen scene, it looked like you wish too. So she's showing him where the kids are going to be and where she and her mom are going to be downstairs, and that he and his mom are going to be upstairs. And Martell immediately says, "I want to be sleeping on the same floor as the kids." So in the confessional, Mel said, "This is typical Martell. You give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. Can you just be happy that you're here? That I invited you and your mother and that you didn't have to spend a dime to be on this trip? Does it matter that the kids are right below you? Like, are we really going to debate you not being on the same floor as the kids? Get out of here. Just enjoy your free trip, honey." Okay, first of all, did you pay for the trip or did production pay for the trip? Secondly, even if you did pay for the trip, why do you feel the need to throw in someone's face that you paid for this trip? You went out and offered this option to this person and said, "For all these reasons, I would like to extend this to you." And now, as soon as it's time to take possession of said offer, you want to throw it in their face that you did this for them. Girl, furthermore, I don't think he was arguing for the sake of arguing. I actually do think he was coming from the perspective of a father, that his first line of thinking, his first interest is supposed to be protecting his children. And I can understand him saying, "I want to be on the same floor as my kids so that in the event of any kind of emergency, he's their first line of defense." I get that. So she asked Martell, "Well, how are you enjoying the trip so far?" And he said, "It's good. It feels like good vibes from everybody. It honestly feels like old times." He said, "Well, how are you enjoying the trip?" She said, "Well, I'm glad y'all came." She said, "I just think if everybody keeps it positive and keeps their energy in the right spot." Martell said, "I don't see why it wouldn't be." She said, "A lot of the times you don't see why things go the way that they go, but they do." Martell said, "Well, it's going to stay good." Mel said, "Well, just go and get out my room now. You can go on and go." So Martell starts joking about her throwing him out of her room, and she goes to push him out of the door. And in the confessional, she's saying something about Martell is throwing all these subliminals and all this flirtatiousness, and he can keep all that. He goes to talk to his mom about how he's really enjoying this, and the kids are really excited about it. He said, "It seems like old times." So as Mel is unpacking, the kids are saying how it's really nice to be at this beach house with mom and dad together. And Mel starts saying to them, "Well, we're only doing this because we love y'all and we want y'all to be happy." And weren't y'all supposed to already have this conversation with these kids? She said, "We're your parents and we just want to be able to take y'all places together and be around each other. We're not getting back together or anything like that. I don't want y'all to think that." So the episode ends with Martell and his mom talking about how he enjoys the kids still being small kids and wanting to be up under their parents. And she's saying how seeing them together with the kids is just the most beautiful thing in the world. And Martell in the confessional says, he does want his kids to be hopeful because, hell, he's hopeful. He said they'll see what God has for them in the future, but in the meantime, they'll continue doing what's best for their children. And it looks like next week, Tisha and Marceau are going to be joining them on this trip. Yeah, the company that paid for the damn trip. They're going to be coming, and Tisha look like she gonna be stirring the pop out. This remind me of y'all back in the day, girl. But that's it, that's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here listening to me and letting me get this off my chest. As always, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.